Hey guys, it's Chris here. Today we're going to be reviewing the Ultimate Ears 350 VI earphones by Logitech. In the box you're given a hard case with the Logitech logo, and on the back there is nothing. Inside there is a rubber interior that has a little grip and definitely protects it from any sudden drops. And you have the Ultimate Ears logo there. You're also provided with 5 sets of tips ranging from extra small all the way to large. And you have a clip that you can put on your earphones themselves that can clip to anywhere you wish. And lastly, you have the earphones themselves, which have a nice look to them. We'll get to that later in this video. Looking at the jack, we have a angled 3.5mm gold-plated headphone jack. And right off the bat, the first problem I saw was how poorly they tried to even reinforce this area right here. At times I would be scared that it would actually break off and fray very easily. So right off the bat, the build quality on these were not so good, especially at this point of the headphones. Other than that, the wire feels nice. It has a nice thickness to it, and definitely after doing some jumbleness, it does not get tangled, which is great for the wire itself. If we move up a bit, we can see the splitter right here. And in my opinion, the splitter is a bit big. I wish they would have gone with a smaller profile, maybe half the size. Quite big for a splitter, but not a big deal. Moving on to the control talk, we have a regular control talk that most Apple earphones have. You have your play, pause, up and down, volume, changing tracks, stuff like that. And it looks quite nice. It has a classy look to it. And using the control talk was not hard at all. Moving closer to the drivers, we can see here the connection here is well enforced. They added an extra plastic surrounding to make sure that this area does not fray off or break off, which is a good build quality on their part. If we look closer on the drivers themselves, we have a nice look to them. We have a black plastic here and a gloss plastic here, which has the Ultimate Ears logo. And we also have a metal finish on the ends of it. Again, you're given 5 tips, all silicone tips ranging from extra small to extra small to large. And I have to say, moving to silicone tips were the best thing I could do. I used to use earphones that would use these types of tips, which are very thick and they barely even stay onto your ears. These Ultimate Ears themselves with the silicone tips, clear silicone tips, they are quite thin, but they fit very well in your ears, are very comfortable, and definitely they stayed in my ears for long hours of usage. I recently went on a bike ride that was 30 miles. It's not a problem. It wouldn't constantly fall out of my ears, and it wasn't that hard to put them back in if they did. On terms of sound leakage, definitely if you use the right size, right now I am using the extra small. No, I'm using the extra small. And if you find the right size, definitely noise isolation was great. I couldn't hear much. When my music is on, you really can't hear much. But again, if your music is off and you have these in, you'll definitely hear a little noise. But sound isolation, really good. Moving on, before I forget, you are included with a clip which has a nice clamp to it. It definitely stays on your shirt. Again, when I was biking 30 miles on my bike, it definitely stayed on my shirt. It never yanked off of my shirt and actually yanked my earphones out of my ears. What I really like about this clip is that you are able to put it anywhere you wish, anywhere on the line itself. So you're not restricted to where the clip was initially put on because it is removable. Alright, so that was the whole build quality on it. If I were to give my rating for build quality, I would have to give it a 3 out of 5. The reason being is because the biggest part of where the headphones will actually break, and I feel like Logitech did a good job on the build quality. They did it well on the whole earphones themselves. They just got a bit lazy on the 3.5 angled jack right here. I don't know what made them think that this would actually stay very easily onto your earphones. I get scared sometimes, so I'm kind of quite delicate with the 3.5 jack, making sure that this area right here does not break off. I get scared sometimes. So on build quality, I have to give it a 3 out of 5. Definitely I had to take off 2 points on here because it is very fragile, or I feel, in my opinion, it's fragile. I haven't tested it to its full ability and I don't want to, or else it'll break. But that's with the build quality, a 3 out of 5. Other than that, the whole earphones themselves, the build quality is great. If they were just a little bit bulked up this area, I would definitely give the build quality a 5 out of 5. Now that we've gone through that spectrum of the review, let's move on to the sound and how I thought these sounded. After listening to these for quite a while, the best sound I got from these were through highs and mids. The highs were great. There was no strong sibilants. The hisses in the voice and such as like S's didn't hurt your ears, and the high notes in them did not pierce your ears as well. They felt warm and relaxing. They sounded great. The mids themselves, again, very great. They had just the right feel to them, and the voices, again, it didn't have much presence to them, or it had enough presence, and it wasn't too recessed or too in your face. And words were easily heard. You can definitely tell what they were saying. It wasn't muddied or anything like that. I also found that the instruments in these, the pianos, the violin, classical music, stuff like that, also sounded great. Now that we've gone through the highs and the mids of these earphones, let's move on to the lows. Again, the lows were great as well. Overall, these earphones are really good with sound. The highs, the mids, the lows were all great, and the lows themselves had a nice feel to them. And when you turn it up to the high levels of volume, they did not distort as well. But what I have to say with these earphones is the bass. The bass was quite a bit lacking. Now, I'm not a bassist kind of guy. I don't really care much for bass, but I myself found that the bass was a bit lacking, and there wasn't enough push in the sound itself when you were hearing those drums going oomph, oomph, stuff like that. But yeah, the bass was lacking, and definitely they could have done better with the bass. If they did better with the bass, these earphones themselves would be really great. Just right now, I really like them. The highs, the mids, the lows were good. Just the bass wasn't that much pushy. But what I really found really made up for the lack of bass was the soundstage. The soundstage really brought the sounds all together. The highs, the mids, the lows, and the bass. And I think that's what really made up for the bass itself. The soundstage on these are really good. Overall, I give these earphones a 3 out of 5. The reason being is because, again, the sound is a great 4 out of 5. If they had a little bit more bass, I would give it a 5 out of 5. But I have to take 2 points off just because of this right here. I'm really afraid that this will break. I mean, you can get these on Amazon for about 50 bucks. Luckily, I got them at a good price at 30 some bucks. But again, 50 bucks, and you get this right here. I am really afraid of here. But overall, these earphones, if this was a bit reinforced, I would definitely give these earphones a 4 out of 5. Take care of these earphones. They sound great. They're really good, and I definitely think that you guys should go and purchase these. Ultimate Ears, Logitech, you did a good job with the 350 VI. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Chris with Get This Here 101, and this has been my full review. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Please subscribe for future content.